Hey everybody, I'm here working on my computer today. I've had better days. I'm got a really bad cold. Working on getting the podcast out for today. So this will be a first in the vlog in a couple of ways. One is that I'll probably have the vlog out before the end of the day, the same day that I made it, which is really not normal. Also, sorry, I'm sick. Tell. Now, I really don't feel good, but I'm trying to get the podcast out today. And I thought this was a very good and opportune time to tell you a little bit about some of the Chilean culture. And you'll see how it relates in a moment. Really, with the trooper and the Daihatsu and everything going on, I haven't really gotten into much about a large portion of what I wanted this blog to be about, which is helping you guys kind of see what it's like living here in Chile and stuff like that. So I'm going to get into that a little bit more right now. The Chilean people are a very loving people. In a lot of ways, they're very hospitable, and that has its good and bad points to it, and I'll get into that a little bit more in the future. But right now, one of the things is that Chileans, I don't know if it's the way that they react as a group of people, a race, or whatever you want to call it. To the kind of cold strain that's here in Chile that they typically get, or if it's just culturally trained in them one way or another. But when I get a cold, and it's always been this way, whether it was in the States or here, when I get a cold, you might as well say I had the flu. Not because of the way I feel, like hurting or anything like that, but because it just zaps every bit of energy that I have. I lay in bed typically for 12, 15 hours a day, and my throat kind of closes up. I can barely breathe. And a bunch of other stuff. So for me, when I get a cold, it's pretty bad, and it usually takes me a few days to get over it. Chileans are not like that. I have yet to meet a Chilean that has gotten a cold and has had to stay in bed. They just go on with their daily life like nothing has happened. They have a sniffly nose. Their eyes look a little bit more red and that kind of stuff. But it's just part of life for them, you know. And that kind of brings me to a part of their culture that I think alludes to this a little bit. If you've never been to Chile, then you don't know how they greet each other here. Here it's very common to greet each other by grabbing one hand like you're shaking a hand, but then grabbing the shoulder and pulling them close, and then they put their cheek to your cheek and they kiss, like, you know, in the air beside you, but with your cheeks touching. Guys do that to women, and women do that to women. Guys here don't do that to guys. That's not the culture. It's just guys to women and women to women. There's absolutely nothing thought about it as a sense of being inappropriate or anything like that. Nobody takes it offensively. Every once in a while, if you don't know somebody real well, it'll just be a handshake. But typically, if a guy meets a woman, that's what you do. That's just a sign of general greeting here. Now, the problem with this is that when they have colds and when they're sick, they don't stay at home. And they greet everybody the same anyway. And they tell you afterwards that they're sick. They greet you first and kiss, you know, on you, and then they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm sick." So, I usually get a cold about twice a year here. I deal with sinus problems all year long, so I take sinus medicine, and even taking the sinus medicine, when I get a cold, it's notable because the sinus medicine manages the other aspects of sinuses, but when I get a cold, it's just no matter what I do, it just gets worse. So it's good that they're really loving people, and it's really nice that they care about their neighbors and their friends. But they're so loving that they want to share everything with you. In fact, they want to share their culture. So that's just kind of how it is here. It's just a cultural quirk, you know what I mean? They honestly do not think about it. I'm gonna stop this here now because, well, I don't want to bore you anymore, and I've got to get the podcast out. So don't forget to stop by and check out all my stuff. You can go by ericmcgrew.tv, find everything there. That's ERICMCGREW.tv. You can also go by, oh man, I just forgot. beginnersfab.com. That's the word beginners, FAB.com. And then you can also go by offroadindependence.com and check out my off-road podcast, which I'm working on. So, hope that was somewhat interesting to you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.